All right, let's go ahead and talk some about various liberal coping mechanisms. So this was hilarious. Cenk Uygur went on Piers Morgan. Actually, my hubby Kyle was on there as well during this show. But Cenk went on.
You guys are married? Oh my God.
Literally at my wedding, Emily.
You were at my wedding, jeez.
Anyway, Cenk went on and had a heated exchange with Alan Lichtman, famous for his keys, which did not turn out to be accurate in this particular election. And the result is pretty hilarious. So let's take a listen.
Look, I debated Professor Lichtman before. I told him his theories about the keys were absurd. I was right. He was wrong. I said he'd lose his keys.
No, you were
Couldn't
not
find
right,
them
and
before
I
the
was
election.
not wrong. And that's a cheap shot, and I won't stand for it.
Well, who won, brother?
You should not be taking cheap shots at me.
Who won?
You want to make your
you
point,
live
make your
in
point.
a total
Don't make it
world of
personal.
denial.
I read your own followers' comments, and they all trashed you, every one of them, and supported me.
Yeah,
so quiet with your personal attacks.
Yeah, come find out again.
Make whatever point you want.
Yeah.
Don't
Look,
make it personal.
You don't know anything. You don't know anything.
You attacked me personally.
You're so deluded.
Oh, right. I've only been a professor for 51 years.
On this program, I've never been able to finish a thought.
How many books have you published? No, because you're personally attacking me again. Say whatever you want, but I'm not going to stand for
brother, you got it wrong.
Say
you were
whatever you want.
preposterously and stupidly wrong. So, okay, all right. Can I just finish a goddamn thought ever on this show?
No, not if you're personally I admitted I was wrong. I don't need you to call me stupid.
Okay.
Can I just say, it's great to see you Democrats all getting along so well.
Who taught you manners?
It's lovely to see a post-election harmony as you all come together again.
We're just one right now. Hey, Alan, you deserve a tall glass of shut-up juice, so can you just shut up for a second? And let someone who knows what they're doing
You're so right, Piers. You're so right. We're so unified right now.
I will not sit here and stand for personal attacks, for blasphemy against me. You don't need to do that. You don't
blasphemy against you? What the hell are you? Are you Jesus Christ, you loser?
So, incredible stuff there. I personally love the Alan Lichtman arc. I've enjoyed it very much. And Cenk, I don't know if you had seen this, but before the election, actually back when Biden was still in the race, because even then, Lichtman claimed his keys said that Biden would win.
Incredible.
And he and Cenk had a big debate about it. And Cenk would be like, okay, well, he would offer some preposterous example. Like, let's say the person has a heart attack and is incapacitated and wheelchair bound. That's not going to be reflected in your keys. So how can that make any sense? And he's like, the keys just, it still works out. So anyway.
The keys always know.
It is true that in this election, almost all of the people who had been at all reliable in the past, all of them got it right. Selzer, who's now retired, which we didn't talk about, who put out the Iowa poll that had Kamala winning by 3. And what did she end up in that state losing by 13?
Yeah.
So, just a little 16-point miss.
But there was a lot of stuff like that going on.
There was. So Ralston, in Nevada, had never been wrong at the presidential level, and he got it wrong. Now, in fairness, that race ended up being very close in the state of Nevada, so he wasn't that far off, and he did say that it would be really close, but still, this was someone that, had a perfect track record. Lichtman, for all of his whatever, he called Trump in 2016. He was one of the only people that did.
It's a bold move.
Yeah, so, now going forward, they've all been wiped off the map. They're, anything that had been predictive in the past has now been completely cleared out. And I saw, this was interesting to me, the Polymarket whale, who bet so much money on Trump that it moved the whole average odds or whatever. He said that what he had looked at, and I think commissioned his own polling of not what people said they were going to do, but what they thought their neighbors were going to do.
Yes.
And I thought that was really fascinating approach. And I mean, obviously he ended up getting it right and making a lot of money because of it. But I thought that was an interesting way of getting at if I'm not able to get a representative sample of people who are Trump supporters or I don't really believe in the shy Trump supporter theory anymore. I think it's more just you can't really get the people on the phone. If people have an accurate sense of what their neighbors are going to do, maybe that ends up helping you understand what's going on out there better than traditional polling methods.
I actually started asking that question when I was talking to voters this cycle. Do you think all of your friends are doing this? Because that to me, back in 2016, if people had been asking that question, probably would have been more predictive.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right. So anyway, that'll be something to look at going forward as we try to make sense of the world. This one I just had to get in here. So this woman is a pollster and has been at times an advisor to the DNC, Rachel Bitecofer. I don't know if you've seen her. She's a big resistance liberal figure. She's kind of losing her mind online right now, and we can put this up on the screen. So Waleed Shahid, who was involved with the Uncommitted movement, which ultimately you'll recall, Waleed and others, they backed Kamala. One of people were very clear-eyed about the threat of Trump and all those things. She tweets him and says, I probably won't be able to stop the Schadenfreude when Shahid gets deported. FAFO, which is F around and find out. So this supposed liberal, humanitarian type figure who is opposed, presumably, to the Trump mass deportation policies, the second that things don't work out her way, first of all, rather than ever blaming the Democratic Party for any fault on their part, she singles out this Muslim man and is excited, expressing her glee that he could be deported under a Trump administration. And she doesn't stop there either, Emily. So let's put this up on the screen. This one was, to me, in a way, even more wild. So she says, here's a full list of people I'll be schadenfreuding over when the Trump check comes due. By the way, I saw someone on Twitter say it was appropriate that she resorted to German for these tweets. Anyway, the climate nuts who attack cultural artifacts, shut down traffic. The pro-Hamas people, working class people who just voted themselves back to peasantry. Blacks for Trump, McConnell ours, Latinos for ours, women for ours. What am I missing? And to me, it's so noteworthy here that, of course, the demographic group, first of all, doing this whole demographic slicing and dicing, obviously I think is gross. Put that aside. But the demographic group that actually voted for Trump the most was white men, and somehow they escape her ire. It's just these various minority demographics that didn't obey her commands and the way she thought they were supposed to act in the world.
Voted themselves back to peasantry.
They're the ones that she's excited for them to be deported and, put back into peasantry and sent to camps or whatever. And it's lady, how are you different from the people you claim to oppose? You are cheerleading the ugliest possible imaginable things here and doing it publicly and apparently unrepentantly. Now, producer Griffin says she's now deleted these tweets.
Incredible.
Days later, has now deleted the tweets, but she's going through it, it seems. She's going through it.
I'm reading her author bio on the Random House website, and it says she worked with Democratic Party candidates and organizations to implement negative partisanship strategy in the 2022 midterms. So obviously, Krystal, she knows exactly what she's talking about. It's funny because she's a political scientist. I believe that she's actually a professor.
Yeah, she's a Virginian. I've met her before.
Amazing that this is the science of politics, is just telling people that they voted themselves back to peasantry because you are an academic and you know better than these voters who thought about this decision and made up their own minds because they are humans with equal worth and dignity to you, Rachel.
It's the voter blaming. And it's also just if you oppose a policy that I consider to be, cruel and inhumane, it's not supposed to be subject to what that person's political views and voting patterns happen to be like. Those are supposed to be universal values that you hold. And Rachel is not the only one that I've seen out there doing this, but she's one of the most prominent ones to just be out and out. I can't wait for you to be deported, which is just outrageously disgusting. So anyway, those are some of the things that are going on over in the liberal world.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.